There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
Both lighting and ADAS categories have been emergent segments that supplement 12-volt specialty retailers' business. And while the offering in lighting systems continues to expand for consumer, municipal, and commercial use, advancements in driver safety solutions are more diverse than ever. On this roundtable, we invite some of the top dealers to discuss the latest challenges, innovations, and trends that have impacted these continuously evolving categories. The Lighting and ADAS episode, presented by SiriusXM and sponsored by 5-Axis Innovations, starts now. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to this edition of CMA Roundtable, presented by SiriusXM and sponsored by 5-Axis Innovations. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and as per usual, we get to connect with retailers across the country, throw away the whole product information and training, and kind of get to the bones of what's going on in different segments throughout the 12-volt industry. Tonight on the menu, of course, we're talking about two categories that we've kind of blended into one discussion, and that's going to be about lighting as well as ADAS. Now, as you know, lighting has evolved so much. There's so many categories to lighting, whether you're talking about LED conversions and bulb replacements or off-road lighting, and even municipal and emergency categories, which have really grown in recent years. And of course, there's also the fleet opportunity. So we're going to talk to retailers and see where they're at with those type of subjects, as well as ADAS, which is also varied, that, you know, started with just parking sensors. Basically, it has now become much more diverse to include blind spot detection. It could be dash cams and multi-channel configurations, as well as multi-camera type of recording type systems as well. And we're going to kind of do our best and go around the table and see what dealers are finding success in which categories. All right. Before we get to that, we have our very important sponsor from 5-Axis Innovations and their owner, Jody Culbertson, who's going to join us a little bit to shed some light on some options that could optimize your showroom presentation and sales in these categories. So let's go ahead and bring Jody in. Hey, Jody.
Ben, how are we tonight?
I'm doing good. And as per usual, we're talking to retailers, and you, my friend, got solutions. So we love having you on to kind of talk about this category here that I know you've been busy building a lot of displays for. You know, let's have this in two parts. Let's first talk about lighting. I know lighting is kind of blown up in the last 10 years. We've been on with you in previous episodes where we looked at some of your lighting displays. How's that lighting display demand going right now?
You know, lighting has evolved and changing drastically per market. You know, from California to Montreal to New York to Florida, everybody is doing something different in their market. And we've learned over the last 3 or 4 years that adapting to the market is the number one concern when building any type of display for the retailer, so that they understand their customer clientele and give them the best experience. You know, ultimately, we want them to become the expert when that customer walks in and sees a display of lighting. That is what they do, and they are the experts in that area. And that's our goal, is to really personify that in their business.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to ADAS, it seems like it's going to be a category, and we've said this before, we're going to talk about it again tonight. It's not something that customers necessarily are aware of as far as the options out there. So imagine how important that would be to have a display showing these type of products in the ADAS category.
That is, collision avoidance, dash cam is a category that you have to display. You have to show the customers the technology. And I agree. The number one category that I see blowing up, and it's not a big ticket item, but it is a great ticket item, is the dash cam concept. And, you get every person who walks into any retailer, 9 times out of 10, they're a parent. 9 times out of 10, they have kids that are driving, or they got a wife, or they got a new driver in the house, or whatever it might be, or they got their own company and they want to know where their vehicles are going. That's where the dash cam comes into play. And let's face it, in life, if they don't see it, they don't know you do it.
Well, let's show them some options of what 5-Axis Innovations has come up with as far as display options. We've got a quick slideshow here. Let's bring that up. And I'd like Jody to speak to some of these images here.
So this is one of the displays we did for a gentleman out on the West Coast here. They do a lot of lighting. They do race sport lighting, and they do another brand. And coming off the top of my head, I can't remember what brand it was. But they wanted to separate the two brands, but they wanted to be realistic. So we tried to make that display as realistic as possible. Plus, we added in a bunch of automotive stuff. So when you walk up to it, you see Nerf bars, you see push bars, you see lighting, you see interior lighting, you see emergency lighting, you see LED lighting. On the far side, you see the 3 bulbs. They show 3 different series of LED lights. You got Jeep replacement headlights. You got spotlights. So there was every element of lighting that they attend, and they're in the mountain area in the West Coast. So they do a lot of spotlights, a lot of light bars. So we wanted to create a display that was very interactive and very much in the consumer's face. When you walked in, you knew you were in the best place around for lighting.
And you give them a lot of buttons to push on top of that.
We probably give them too many. The problem is when on this display, and we should probably put sunglasses beside them, because some of the displays are a little too bright when you hit that button.
Especially when you're that close. So that's
Yes.
something to note. All right. Different styles here. Maybe you don't have as much space as a giant wall. Let's say you only have maybe 2 feet or 3 feet of width.
And this is a good example for really honing in. So the right guy there is from Ohio. He does a lot of Jeeps. He does a lot of motorcycles. You can't really see the motorcycle replacement headlight in there. He does light bars. He does interior lighting. That was it. That's all he wanted to do. The gentleman on the left was from the Midwest. He did a lot of motorcycles. So we did the Jeep replacement. We did the accent lighting for motorcycles. He does a lot of emergency. So we added emergency. He loves his Jeeps out in the Midwest. So we created the full Jeep image with the headlights. We did the light bar to make it look like it's on front of the Ford truck. And then obviously the interior, exterior lighting, as well as the rock lighting. That's the thing that I think every retailer has to kind of sit back and look in their store. How do they express what they do to the customer who walks in? And my goal personally is every display that we build, I want the customer to walk in, look at that Jeep panel and go, that's what I want on my Jeep. That's all I want him to think. I want that in my Jeep.
I'll be honest, it's kind of a challenge to have a high expectation to move a specialty lighting. I'm not talking bulbs, but more the stuff that you're showing here when it's in a box, right? It's just one of these things. It needs to be shown. It inspires people. Sometimes people come in like, oh, I didn't even know you made this, or they made this, or this was available until you show them.
Let's face it, Ben, look at some of these lights now. They are so cool what they do. And if you can show people what they do, that gets their attention. And 9 times out of 10 on a lighting display, and you look at the one on the left, that's not a lot of lighting to display, but damn it, you are looking at a ton of categories there.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to hone in on the trucks, the Jeeps, the emergency, the motorcycle, the interior, the rock lights. Rock lights can cover trucks, they can cover boats, they can cover side-by-sides. You can cover a lot of elements with that, and no different with collision avoidance. All the mirrors, the backup sensors, the dash cams, show some part of it and you will get the customer's attention. And also on the dash cam, one of the biggest things we've learned on dash cam is expressing to the consumers why they want to buy, what are the benefits of it. And there's a ton of benefits to owning a dash cam in a vehicle.
No, absolutely. We're going to talk about some of those benefits tonight. Hey, Jody, thanks so much for coming by. And we always do appreciate you, and you kind of give your insight because, hey, you talk to a lot of dealers. So definitely your information is important and vital. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me, bud. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Oh,
take care.
All right, bye.
All right. Thank you, Jody from 5-Axis Innovations, for sharing that with us. Let's get the show on the road and bring in our retailers that will be joining us for our discussion this evening. Again, it was a nice meeting with them so that we could kind of, get our thoughts together. We are talking about two different categories, but two very special categories that have shown a lot of growth in the last few years. And we're really going across the country on this one. So let's go ahead and bring them all on. I'll give you a quick introduction of who's joining us. Right beside me here is, well, you've seen him before, Conrad Leduc, representing Sudbury Car Audio. In the top right corner, Mr. Julius Roy from Ralph's Radio out in BC. Bottom left corner, we have Mr. Autumn Davis, representing Certified Radio out in Edmonton. And then in the middle here, newcomer, welcome, Dalen Supple, representing Audio Designs from Fort Mac. And last but not least, Mr. Corey Viancourt in the Sarnia region, DC Car Audio. What's going on, fellas? All right, so on the menu to this evening, we're talking ADAS, we're talking lighting and everything in between. We've specifically selected a group of dealers that represent different regions, not only physically as far as province, but also location of shop. So for example, Ralph's Radio, very metropolitan area in Vancouver, whereas, Audio Designs is a little bit up north. Not such a cosmopolitan area. So it's going to be interesting to see the contrast in clientele and demand and trends. So let's start with Conrad over here. Conrad, how important are categories such as lighting and ADAS to a shop such as yours, which really is kind of special because you make no mistake in telling everybody that you don't do remote starts?
Yeah, that's right. Lighting is a huge part of our winter when it gets dark faster. Almost any vehicle you can think of. We know the categories we can do for lighting. In the shop side-by-side with LED lighting, there's a 64 Ford with LED lighting, and there's a brand new Tacoma. Categories are very wide. You can hit almost any vehicle.
All right, so almost every vehicle coming to your shop essentially is getting smacked with some type of lighting treatment, whether they want to or not, which is kind of nice. While we have you on that topic, Conrad, give me one. I know there's a lot, but I'm going to ask you to give one so you can share and everybody else has a chance to say something. But one trend that you've seen coming through your shop from the lighting category that you want other dealers to know about?
I mean, it just, if you're not involved in lighting, you have to be, right? LED lighting is huge. There's a lot of negativity about it. We see sometimes that lights blind other drivers not to. And we're not selling Amazon stuff. We're selling proper brand names. We're a huge ODX. Single vehicle that comes in the shop drives either early morning or at night. Whether they're there for audio or doesn't matter. They're a customer that's potential of lighting because they have lights and they all.
All right. So you're talking passenger LED upgrade lighting is basically like a trend that is consistent, is what you're saying. Okay. Let's switch that. So from Sudbury, let's go to Vancouver. I mean, a little bit different market. We're going to talk to Julius over here. Now, Julius, lighting for Ralph's Radio. In fact, I was even a little bit surprised myself when I heard that you actually do some type of lighting. And so from the lighting that you do in your region, what have you seen as a strong trend?
Yeah, definitely a lot of headlight replacement in Vancouver. So going from sort of conventional halogen bulbs to LED bulbs. We're also a big ODX dealer and really enjoy the brand. It's got great values on warranty, and that's probably the biggest holdback is getting a cheap bulb, not getting any backup from your supplier or whatever. So they're a little bit more expensive than the eBay bulbs, which I like, and great brand. We don't obviously see lots of side-by-sides and rock crawling vehicles and that sort of thing. So the rock lights are not a huge thing here. We've probably done a couple over the years, but it's just not a huge category in the city. We do a bit of accent lighting, so under seat, under dash, that sort of thing, and certainly use LED lighting in our installs. We've got a Mustang in the bay right now, and we absolutely lit up the install in the trunk. Lots of side firing strip LEDs. That sort of thing. So it's really cool. And we do a lot of marine here, bigger boats. So some accent lighting there and lighting that's included from the manufacturers in the speakers we install is also a big hit.
Very much so. So it's hard to deny that lighting really does touch almost everything that you're doing these days. Anyhow, it seems that way.
Absolutely.
Okay. This one I'm really excited to hear about. Let's go to Edmonton and Certified Radio, where I know for a fact they've got a giant lighting display area. So I'd like to hear from Autumn. What are some of the trends that he's seeing through the bay?
Well, I mean, trends, We've kind of pulled back a little bit from the light bars and the headlight upgrades. Just a personal choice for our business. It makes sense to focus on some more possibly profitable and more customer centric items like our emergency lighting and stuff like that. If it comes to the retail side of things, you know, we actually did a ton of rock lighting this year in marine and side by sides and stuff. And not just because you can put fancy colors on, but actually for like people if they break down, or like dome lights. Like most of these little off-road vehicles, they don't have dome lights. They don't have any kind of thing so you can see if you know it's dark outside. You get a flat tire, a belt comes off or something, right? So Heist actually makes a great kit that has a button that you press and it turns all the lights to bright white and lights up the whole area. So it's pretty cool.
Beautiful. Well, great for servicing. Okay, so you've
Yeah.
seen a pickup in rock lights this season for some reason.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, and I know you mentioned fleet stuff, but we're going to circle back with you on that and get a little bit
Right.
more detail. All right, Dalen, talk to us about audio designs up in Fort Mac. What's the lighting situation?
For sure. Lots of front end lighting upgrades, like, you know, replacing halogen bulbs, putting in LED bulbs, a big fan of ODX brand. And front end lighting, touching on that, the odd light bars, you know, we'll do like a 20-inch, 30-inch in the grill or something for the guys. You know, we get a lot of commuters as well, traveling back and forth to Edmonton. So the highway drive at night is big, and it picks up in the winter season as well. Just because it gets dark real early, and I mean your daylight is pretty minimal up here.
So you're talking front end lighting, light bars obviously being a big part of it. Are there any models or brands that you feel comfortable?
Yeah. Bright Source is a big one we use a lot. We're very happy with it. We typically use their single row. They have a titanium series. It's nice and slim, so a lot of these grills on these trucks are very skinny, and you're trying to mount it and you don't want to use a double row. They kind of blocks it. So the single row, but great output on them, good warranty, pretty happy with the product.
Oh, very, very cool. Corey, we're going to segue into our other part. We're going to be bouncing back and forth a little bit between lighting and ADAS. But ADAS is something that you've found some pretty decent success in recently, and we're going to talk about that. So what are some of the go-to kind of ADAS category / brand / product that you found success with DC Car Audio recently?
So we do a lot of roster equipment, brand motion equipment, Momento from First Tech for our dash cams and some of the sensors and stuff that we do. That's where we see a lot of the success in is blind spot detection. And oddly enough, there's been an issue with some people that I've seen where they've been complaining about people walking into the sides of their vehicles while they're parked. So we've had to kind of figure out a roundabout way to solution that up so that they would have some kind of.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to explain that a little bit better. You're telling me people are coming to your shop saying, "Hey, Corey, here's the situation."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll be parked at a light, and somebody will just walk straight into the side of their car and then get on the phone, call the police, say they've been hit.
So now I understand what you're trying to say. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what is he saying? And people are just randomly walking into cars. Now I understand what you're trying to say. Okay. Yeah. And what have you found as a solution?
Dash cams, and we've been doing a lot of front sensors, but instead of the sensors being on the front, primarily on the front, we'll wrap them around the side of the vehicle. So if somebody comes near the vehicle, it starts beeping really quick.
Interesting. Okay. An evolution of what things were, I guess, meant and designed for that you've been creative with. When it comes to dash cams, what are you talking? 2-channel, 3-channel, any brand or model in particular?
We use the M6 and the M7 from First Tech.
Okay, First Tech dash cam system. Very good. Thank you very much. Let's go to Dalen. We'll go around the other way.
Yeah, for sure.
ADAS.
ADAS? Yeah, for sure. Pretty similar. We get a lot of people because of those commutes that I was mentioning earlier. A lot of people they want to record while they're driving. They want to be able to protect themselves and also others as well. So we do a lot of thinkware. Probably our best seller is the Q800 Pro. So good front end, 2K sensor on the front with some good night vision as well for parking mode and 1080p rear camera and yeah, honestly, that's hard to keep on the shelves. is that
Really?
guy. Yeah. I bring in a lot, and once they're in, and you get people walking in and looking at the display and whatnot, it's a hard one to keep, especially you're talking about higher resolution, higher frame rate. You want to get people's license plates. It's a big seller.
Now, these are 2-channel and up systems. Are you providing, are you immediately going for the hardwire install?
Yeah, primarily. I don't think I've sold one of those over the counter. As we've sold some regular single channels, just some basic ones. But yeah, those systems are all hardwired.
Very, very good. How about you, Autumn? When it comes to ADAS, I know we talked about lighting before. I promise you we will circle back, but let's talk about ADAS for now. Where have you found, or some standout items maybe that you want to discuss tonight?
It's probably the same as everybody else. I mean, right now the dash cam market is on fire. We're doing multiple cam systems almost on a daily basis now. Definitely, there's always a dash cam in the bay at some point in time during the day. It's almost a necessity now for most people. There's insurance breaks. There's all kinds of benefits for people to have one. So, and I think there's enough advertising behind dash cams just in general that everybody kind of just gravitates when they have a vehicle. It's like, oh, we need a dash cam. So, it's easy business, easy money, and if you're selling the hardwire and the parking mode and all those features and stuff, it's easy to get money in the back end too. So
I'm happy you brought that up. I think that during our presentations for dash cams, I think parking mode is that single selling feature that really helps all of our dealers in the sense that, well, and if you want parking mode, sir, ma'am, we're going to have to hardwire to your vehicle, which means you're going to have a hardwire kit, which means you're going in the bay. So it's either you're getting them in the bay for the first time where you can upsell them to other stuff, or maybe they're already in there with a remote start. And hey, what a great opportunity to upsell them to a 2-channel dash cam. So on that note, Julius, I'd like to hear your take on this from a Ralph's Radio standpoint for ADAS items that have really found a lot of space in your shop.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. I got to agree with Autumn. Dash cams has absolutely blown up over the last several years in both our Vancouver and Victoria store. It's a huge category. People really recognize the value in having that eyewitness on their windshield in their car. And so we primarily deal with Blackview and Thinkware, both excellent brands, a little different style. So it's a different aesthetic. And most everything is hardwired for install, parking mode, fuse taps, proper install, and great value to the customer in both brands, and a good range as well in both lines, from sort of your $300 camera, front rear camera system at 720 or 30 frames, all the way up to 4K systems and 60 frames per second. So you've got different customers with different values. Some people just want to have something, and some people want to actually have something that produces a picture they can up to the internet and show their friends or whatever. So really good product. We also do a lot of blind spot systems and parking sensor systems, like most shops, and mostly dealing with Rostra on the parking sensors, and we've been using the USA spec piece for blind spot. And blind spot was challenging to find a piece that was reliable and accurate, I guess is probably a better word, that produced fewest falses. And so the USA spec piece, after doing a ton of research to some colleagues in US and Canada, came out as probably one of the best. Like, it's still not quite OEM quality, but for a retrofittable piece that's works on most cars with a plastic bumper, it's been pretty solid, and I've been really happy with that. And then we do a fair amount of 360 camera systems, and that's a category that I see growing. That'll be something in the coming years that'll get bigger and bigger. People want that.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what you mean by a 360 cam system, Julius?
So you're taking 4 cameras, 2 side, 1 front, 1 rear, and you're stitching a picture together that gives you a bird's eye image. So basically, as if you had a drone above the car looking down, so that you can see all around the car. And for parking a larger vehicle, we've done quite a few commercial systems on Sprinters or F550 trucks and that sort of thing, and it's amazing when you get a good system, 1080p cameras and a really good processor that stitches the pictures together to give you that perfect view. And then it ties in, so you hit left or right turn signal, you get that camera, you hit reverse, you get that camera, you have multi-views that are easy to access. And from a high quality system, it can be super profitable for install and sale of product. And we've really enjoyed that.
And
that
what
category.
product in specific are you recommending here from your experience?
Well, Brigade is one product at the very high end of the scale. There are others. We've played with the Rydeen system. I know Brand Motion has a system. There's a couple systems out there. You really want to pick a system that you can install and that will work for your techs, so that you're getting a great picture. Some of the systems, we bought some early systems, that they're sitting on a shelf here collecting. I'll be having birthdays for them, but they were just too difficult to set up. And then at the end of the day, the 420 cameras were just not giving you a clear enough picture. So you got to have 1080. We installed a 1080 system in a vehicle recently, and then had a 2022 Volvo in the shop with factory 360, and our system ate it alive. Like, it was way better, way clearer picture
Versus the factory Volvo system.
Factory installed system in a Volvo, yeah.
Interesting.
And so I was impressed. Really, really killer product, but and not cheap. It's probably $7-8 grand installed to the customer, depending on the vehicle. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big ticket item.
Yeah,
I would recommend all our dealers take a look into that. One of those a month certainly helps the bottom line at the end of each month. No doubt about it.
Yeah, 3-4 day install, but killer quality, and I haven't had one phone call since setup from those customers. It's, which is exactly what I like.
Interesting. All right, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, really good category, and I'm expecting more stuff. Collision avoidance type product. There's some stuff in the dash cams that is a little, like, it gives you a warning. I'm looking for the future products that will actually tie in maybe through OBD and do more than give a warning. Maybe initiate braking or something like that. That would be cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely food for thought. Thank you for sharing with us, Julius. And in the spirit of contrasting regions, I'd like to hear, in Sudbury, not exactly the cosmopolitan center, but yet still a demand for dash cams, isn't there, Conrad?
Yeah, we do dash cams. We chose a Mio brand. We like really easy on-screen display. All your settings are on screen. Very, very simple for the customer to sell. Like you said, parking mode already. We do most of them with parking mode. The 2K cameras we've used in the area. And we're loving the ease of use and ease of install for those cameras. It's simple and reliable. We've had no bad cameras, knock on wood, but for us.
It's interesting that we've gone around the table. I've heard 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 different dash cam companies being named. Now, Corey, just to circle back with you, I'm not familiar with the First Tech ones. Do those ones have a display or not?
The M7 does.
Okay.
It also has LiDAR sensors. As far as I believe, it's the only company that has a LiDAR sensor.
So it's got radar detection.
No, it's for the.
Oh,
well, maybe,
okay.
But it's for the parking lot mode. So
Gotcha.
It allows the camera to go into a lower standby voltage.
Mm-hmm.
So most of those cameras will actually draw a lot more.
I'll tell you what sucks. I learned recently, for example, Pioneer Electronics has a 2-channel dash cam available in the US and not available in Canada. And I was like curious, why would a dash cam, what would they say no to for a dash cam? You know what it was?
No.
The Pioneer unit is such a hot item, it's got a built-in lithium battery.
Explosive.
So you're like, wait a minute, what's that for? Well, I think you understand now.
Yeah.
You could get extended performance on your parking mode because it'll do the battery before even going to the car battery. So you'll have more frames per second for a longer duration through the night because of that backup battery that's built into the camera. And our government ixnayed it because of some rule about dash cams and batteries.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe
So anyways,
that.
I thought I'd bring that up. It's an interesting thing that I just learned.
Yeah,
okay, let's go to Autumn. I keep bringing this up because we did have a chance to do a tour of Certified Radio. Beautiful store, of course. And having Jody on in the beginning, a lot of guys aren't into lighting or ADAS. And I'm a firm believer that if you don't show it, and it's our job to educate our customers about it. And that starts with good display. Let's talk about the display at Certified Radio dedicated to lighting and or ADAS, and how effective is it? Can you share some of the stories or results that you have from this demonstration area?
Yeah, I mean, we've actually set it up kind of in an interesting way. We have a ton of floor space on our showroom floor. So we've got an 8x8 panel, and it's literally a picture of a vehicle, the front end of a vehicle. And it has upgraded headlights, it has light bars, it's got emergency lighting, it's got amber lighting, it's got a rear view mirror, it's got backup sensors, it's got fog light, like everything. And it's all interactive. So we like to show solutions that people can interact with. It's way easier to sell something if somebody can actually see how it works and play with it a little bit than it is to try to explain a light to somebody over the counter. It's almost
And
a
do you
fool's
feel like
errand.
it's directly to sales?
Sorry?
Do you feel like it's directly translated to sales?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, if you know, even just people, if they're waiting, if they're maybe they're waiting around in the store for their car or something like that, they just walk around and they play with stuff, and a lot of times, you know, it just puts ideas in their head. Oh, are you there, Ben? I think you froze up, Ben.
We can hold the fort, guys. Oh, there he is.
Are you back, Ben?
Lens,
Yeah.
can you get me? Sorry about that. I guess I'm just getting bugging on internet connection here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about pursuing municipal, fleet, or commercial business in the lighting category. And let's start with you, Autumn. I want you to talk to us a little bit about the success that Certified has found in that category.
Yeah. I mean, most people's eyes glaze over when you start talking about safety with them. They get all dry about it. But honestly, it's an enormous market. I think it's 1.5 billion globally right now. It's projected to go up to 2 billion within the next kind of few years. So if you're not on the amber market, you're gonna be missing out.
Amber market. Okay. Well, let's continue the dialogue. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go to Julius. Have you touched on this municipal, fleet, or commercial business?
Yeah, we set a little bit of Wayland's here and there. There's a couple of large fleet direct companies. They handle a lot of the municipal, police, fire, ambulance. So I think they've got the accreditation. Working with police, you've got to be bonded and all that to even touch their vehicles and whatnot. But we do have relationships there. So realistically, a lot of that work would be handled by our wholesale team, not so much through our front door. So we do a bit of it, but certainly the bulk of our LED is through the front door and retail stuff, headlights and that sort of thing.
Okay. In a small town like Sudbury, and being one of the specialists in town, do you get a chunk of that business, or are you after it? Are you pursuing it? And is it even important for Sudbury Car Audio to look at this side of the business?
It's huge. We're gaining more and more every day. Sudbury is a mining town. It's huge. So tons of grill lights. Whips are required to be lit at certain lots of lit whips. And I mean, it's huge in any area, not just mining. Like we're doing plumbing vans, we're doing carpenter vans, we're doing any lots and lots of amber lighting, and we're gaining. We gained 3 new clients in the last month. So we're active in it. We're actively pursuing more all the time.
Okay. How about in Fort Mac? Again, I'm gonna hope that you do some type of snowblower lighting up there.
Actually, it's funny. Yeah, I don't think I've had a snowblower at the shop yet, unfortunately. But we got some lighting on our quad. We got our quad with a plow on the front of it. So when we clean up our parking lot, but no, unfortunately not. A lot of our lighting, in terms of fleet, I mean, we've done tons of Garda vehicles up here. So the security vehicles, same thing, Wayland systems on those. The Suncor plant up here as well. We've worked on their fire hall trucks, so emergency lighting on those as well. The big thing with pursuing it, I mean, we kind of got our foot in the door with those guys. So we're always hearing like from Garda, especially, it's talking with them all the time, either helping with solutions that they need, or fixing up, or just even not even necessarily doing amber on their vehicles, but doing lighting upgrades on the trucks as well, like front end, halogen replacements. And the Fort Mac Airport up here as well, we've had a few of their vehicles in doing emergency and lighting upgrades for them.
All right, very cool, very cool. So, I mean, it sounds to me like it is certainly depending on your area, if you have access to this type of business. But one thing is for sure, the products exist, and they exist in spades. I think it's a question of whether you have the time, the resources, and the team to be able to attack this type of business, because it will take a certain amount of commitment at first to get that ball rolling. But I feel like once you get that going, I think those doors are going to continue to stay open, especially if you can deliver on the goods. So definitely something to look out for as far as potential business opportunities. Julius, I want to circle back with you. Again, you have some great stories to tell, and I wanted to ask you, was there any product that surprised you recently on how well it performed and installed?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably have to circle back to that 360 camera system from Brigade. We one particular install that's a little different. We did a converted Sprinter with somebody had turned it into a bit of a camper, and it was sort of a home build. And this lady was looking for a way to not only have 360 parking camera, but she also wanted 360 for security. So when she's in her camper at night, she can hit a button and have a look and see what's going on outside her camper. So Brigade system allowed for a second screen on their system. And there, you have to understand there's a hub, all the cameras connect to it. It has an output to a screen, which has control over that hub. And then it actually had a second screen output, which I was surprised, like, why would you need that? And so we mounted the second screen in the rear where there's a counter, I guess, and where she could access that without having to go to the front and start the vehicle or whatever. And so that was really cool. But this having 1080p cameras, like we see HD cameras coming from some of the manufacturers for parking cameras, for backup cams, and the picture quality difference is amazing. When you've got a 1080p camera playing to a high res screen, you're able to see the little rocks, pebbles on the ground like next to your vehicle. It's really a better experience than a non-HD setup. So that's probably sort of my biggest, most surprising takeaway on an ADAS product recently.
Very, very cool. Mr. Davis, how about you? When it comes to ADAS, any great stories, newfound success with any emerging ADAS technology?
So we've done a few of the 360 systems as well, and they're super impressive. I can't say more about them really. They're amazing, and once you've installed one and you see how it performs and whatnot, if you're going with a Brigade or a top end system like that, like it's super impressive. Another system I would say that's kind of up and coming, we're trying to push it. It's called the Halo system, and some of these emergency vehicles or even just roadside vehicles, they pull off to the side of the road and they put up pylons so people don't hit them and stuff like that. What the Halo system is actually a very, very intense directional light that shines a perimeter around the vehicle in red. So it's perfect for when it's, when the sun's going down or coming up in the morning. You might not be able to see those pylons, but you definitely see a bright light on the road. So that's a pretty neat system that we've done a few
and
of.
Who
now.
makes that model?
I believe it's Pro Signal. It might be Brigade, but
okay.
They're both, if one guy's making them, the other guy's probably making it too. So
fair enough. All right, let's throw the question over to Dalen.
Yeah, for sure. Circling back to those multi-channel dash cams, it's definitely been big, showing people these products and just talking about the benefits with them. You know, they want to be protected, and we've done quite a few internal as well. I don't know how fancy they are. I think it's Rydeen, where we've done internal cameras for Garda, where it's actually recording front, inside the vehicle, and audio as well. And they got the little infrared lights on them too for nighttime, and it's always recording. They definitely enjoyed those and whatnot for just for that sort of scenario for them, just protect their drivers and protect, you know, other people as well.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that you, Corey, have kind of been playing a lot in this category, maybe found some success regionally. Can you share with us maybe some product or some scenarios that really proved worthwhile?
Yeah. So the biggest one was the FedEx contract, the first half of the FedEx contract that we had this year. I know probably some of the other guys had a similar contract, but we had the biggest one in Southern Ontario. So that one was Sarnia's local trucks, London's half of their fleet, and then some of the Windsor trucks. So that was equipment all provided by Brigade. So it's surprisingly very good equipment. They're from over in the UK, and they have a main office here. So that was sensors, cameras, side cameras. The second half of that contract is front dash cams, driver-facing dash cams, and front cameras. So that'll be pretty neat to deal with. And then we found a lot of success in blind spot using Vox and brand motion equipment. So because unbeknownst, I don't know if any of the other guys know this, but there's actually two variations of blind spot detection, and they don't advertise it very well. So there's a one-way system where if a car comes up behind you, it'll pick it up, but if you drive past the car, it doesn't pick it up. So that'd be a one-way system, and the two-way is what we're used to. And if you make that mistake and you don't know it, and most of the other guys don't know it, it can be pretty costly. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, no, good point. Good point. I didn't even know about that until I went through these trainings with these products, and they made it a point to be very clear. Ours is a two-way system. Yeah. Whether you're driving up on me or the other way, it's going to show up and you will get an alert. And that's kind of what you're right, Corey. That's where we're kind of used to from an OE standpoint.
Yeah, and
right?
honestly, the roster, the brand motion stuff is up there with the, I would say, Toyota OEM. Like they're fairly solid when it comes to that. And yeah, I would recommend it anybody to try a brand motion piece.
You know how sensors are, right? If you don't have confidence in the sensor, you ain't selling it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's good to hear the confidence you have in that one. Yeah, absolutely. I'll finish with you, Conrad, when it comes to ADAS successes that you found.
Well, like Corey as well, we did the cameras first, and we more recently, early this summer, did cameras with the sensors, and that kind of opened us up into the category where we also found this confidently and sell some camera systems to some RV customers. And from Crux, they have some cameras that are actually silver, and I think 3 of the exact same color of the camera. I don't know, just shit luck, but silver camera on a silver RV. You know, the guys can feel confident when they signal left or right. They have that blind spot covered on a larger screen, 10-inch floating screens in there and on triple camera displays, and RV guys are liking that. So we pushed us into that category, and now we like it.
We didn't really talk about RVs tonight, but yeah, RV is definitely another big category for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Let's shift gears to Dalen. This is an interesting question for you specifically, Dan. This came up in our conversation, and I think I'm going to pick on you because you're new. So I'm going to pick on you. When it comes to installing customer-provided product, yeah, this is an interesting one. What is the stance over at Audio Designs? And I'm talking specifically about lighting and ADAS products. I'm not talking about here's my sub and here's my amp. I'm just talking about lighting and ADAS for now.
Yeah, it's definitely a love-hate relationship, for sure. Like, there's not a lot we turn away, even though sometimes we should later on. You always learn that. But The product that the customer supplies up here, I find, like, you buy those cheap LED lights on Amazon for $50. They're 10 million lumens, and those dash cams you can buy, the front end and the rear camera is actually meant to go outside. But the ones, and they're huge, like they're big, and they want us to put it inside the vehicle. And yeah, you got to educate the customer for sure. So we do that, and we charge a bit more labor on installation on some of this product as well.
Okay. Does anybody want to chime in on this one before we move forward? Is that kind of the stance for everybody? Raise your hand, say go ahead.
No. They have to bring it in, but
right.
80% of the time I don't touch it.
Fair enough. All right, our final question of the night, we're going to really crunch down on dash cams because, like many of you have pointed out this evening, dash cams on fire right now. So like dealers need to know this is a great revenue stream. And let's be honest, it's not the hardest thing to install, right? Let's be honest, it's not. But it does require a technician to do it, especially these hardwire kits. So let's start with you. Again, staying on you, Dalen. Multi-channel dash cams, has this affected your dash cam sales? If so, how and which ones? I know you already talked about the thinkware, but maybe just speak a little bit to the business of dash cams.
Yeah, absolutely. They kind of sell themselves. They really do. It's pretty easy to get somebody in and explain and have them understand that you're covering the front and the back, and it's hard to keep. It really is, and like you said, easy to install. The thinkware product that we use, I find is very intuitive, and customers add to that as well, that they enjoy using it. And we do install the Memento as well, M6 primarily. We've installed quite a few, and yeah, very intuitive, very easy to use. And that's the biggest thing as well, because a lot of people, I get a lot of customers come in, they're like, I'm not tech savvy. Like I need to use this. And that's a big thing. You need to have software on the app side of things that the customer is going to be able to use later, right? You can tell them that, oh yeah, you can just pull it up and do it. But when it comes to the real life, if they get into an accident, that's the biggest thing. So, and that's why we enjoy installing these products, and the customers love it as well.
All right, same question to you, Corey. Multi-channel dash cams.
Yeah, it's funny though. This category has actually been around for 10 or so years, and it's really picked up traction over the last 3 or 4 years. So yeah, it's very good business. We only deal with the one company, like I said, and we do that for brand loyalty and margins. We don't have to we can't be shopped on it, so that's why we do it. But First Tech comes from a company that is for the installer, made by installers, right? But the cameras themselves, they're good. Customers like them, like Dylan said there. Very easy to use interface. And whether it's on your phone or you pop the SD card out and have to take it to a computer, it's all very easy just to be able to plug the SD card in, pull the file that you're looking for, and they break it down into minute slots. And then if it's a recorded event, it actually moves the recorded event into a private section that's not deleted and breaks it down to a 30-second slot. So it's easier to find that way. Yeah, I really enjoy doing it. I'm absolutely blown away that we've been doing it for as long as we have, and we're now just seeing how explosive this segment could be.
All right. Let's go to Sudbury on the same question, of course, on multi-channel dash cams affecting dash cam sales.
Yeah, for sure. We're focusing on it more this year. For us, that was one of our goals for 2022. That I show clients. Like I did, unfortunately though, catch a head-on collision on one of my. When people see that, they're not expecting to see it. But even though I wasn't involved, it still shings and help out, because we did send that video to the police locally to help out who's hurt. I also hit a moose last year with my truck, with my dash camera. They're an unfortunate incident, but it shows people what can happen kind of as a funny those things. But we show the videos to clients, and they like seeing, even if it's, I've had incidents of a chicken on the road because there's people with chicken, silly stuff like that. So it helps out and gives them examples of why they want it, and that get one after an incident has happened. And we're trying to push the fact that they should get one before.
Okay. Now, Julius, you again, obviously located in a very cosmopolitan setting where, I mean, let's face it, a very high population. You must see, assuming that dash cams are a regular thing, but have you noticed a hike in sales with these multi-channel systems?
Yeah, Ben, I got to agree with everyone on the panel that the growth in dash cams in the last couple of years has really exploded. And with that explosion, you've got a huge mix of products. I think we all see the Amazon, the cheap stuff. We see the products that we carry being brought in the front door by our customers. And like most of us, I'm not going to say no to business, but I say yes with conditions. Sometimes the conditions are, that the no guarantee part of it, because, hey, I can't back this up. There's no tech support or whatever. Sometimes the maybe the install price is a little higher if there's more pieces or bits to the install. And in multiple cases, you end up having the customer send back what they bought and buy something from you. So you should never just dismiss somebody that, over the phone or whatever, that, no, we don't do it, because I think you cut yourself off from opportunity later on. As far as the product itself goes, definitely seeing more of the manufacturers are coming out with solutions to allow you to do more than just, single channel or 2-channel. Now we're seeing Blackview's got a box with 3-channel in it. Thinkware's got an add-on box that can let you add multiple exterior cameras, left and right side mirror cameras, rear exterior camera. We do a lot of rear engine exotics here, and having a rear camera on the little window behind the seats will give you an excellent view of the engine, but won't do much for giving you a view of the traffic behind you. So having an external rear cam that is not a dump truck camera is becoming an asset. And so Thinkware came out with that, and I really, really like that. And I'm hoping to see in the coming months some more sales there as we get more familiar with that product. Interior product, so your rideshare or taxi cab dash cam is another hot spot with the infrared interior cam. A lot of customers come in looking for, not so much collision protection, but they're looking for, there's some jerk in my building that keeps scratching cars and I'm trying to catch that. So having, dual interior cameras facing sideways on the rear windows, that's been asked for. So lots of variations on the dash cam trend. And then on the commercial side, right, somebody was talking about driver facing interior camera. Some of them actually can detect your eyes closing and will sound an alarm for a wake up, and then also transmit that information via SIM card and cellular LTE to the owner of that particular vehicle. So we're seeing some of that type of big brother stuff there. I had an interesting conversation with a person unrelated to specifically to dash cams, with a insurance person, no names here, but I think that sort of solidified the value for me, and something I repeat to customers is it's your word versus theirs until somebody pulls out video. So I don't think that the value of a dash cam can ever be understated. Like you can't, or overstated. Like if you've got video, you've got proof. It does, doesn't matter what the other person said. This shows what happened. And so my display actually has the words eyewitness on the top of it. And so by having a dash cam, whether it's single channel or multi-channel, you've got an eyewitness on your side for your side of the events that happened. It's a great category. I wish there was more margin in it. Some of the brands get really stepped on online, and so like
All right. Thank you, Julius. Thank you so much. Autumn, we leave you with the final word on ADAS and lighting. Anything that you want to add that hasn't been said, especially with regards to these multi-channel systems becoming so popular for dashcam?
Yeah, I mean, just like everybody else, I've noticed a huge uptick in the multi-channel, people asking for it. It's a huge benefit to any fleet, to any kind of company who has multiple vehicles and they rely on drivers, even just for asset management and even safety audits and stuff like that, like having video, the interior 3-channel ones, being able to notice drivers dozing off and stuff like that, uploading to a cloud. It's insane how integrated these things have become and how much information you can actually pull from them. And now even the back end programs offered by some of these larger companies for categorizing and storing all of the files and whatnot is it's awesome.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking the time this evening to chit chat with us. We've got some good perspective. We've got some new ideas. Hopefully you learn from each other, and certainly whoever's tuning in definitely has a better sense of what's going on across the country from a retail standpoint for both lighting and ADAS categories. So on that note, thank you so much, and we look forward to having you again on a future roundtable, guys.
Thanks a lot, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Take care. All right, that's it for this roundtable. So let's talk about what you need to know, and that is, of course, an amazing contest we have on. You retailers, you dealers are signed in, and you guys are even on the panel tonight. I hope you've already signed up for the Ultimate Fab Experience giveaway. We're talking about MasterTech Expo 2023. We're giving away a free trip, one for Canadian, one for an American. We're talking food, flights, hotel, training, the whole 9 yards. Sign up for free, cmanetworks.com/giveaway. I want you to keep it locked here on CMA Networks, because our next roundtable will be on November 23rd, where we'll have some top dealers here to talk about my favorite topic, and that is audiophiles. And if you do like audiophiles, by the way, check out every single day right through till I believe it's November 10th, because we have the audiophile sessions going on right now. Top of the line brands each and every day. Tune in at 12 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern. That's it. Oh, one more thing. Obviously, if you're there, check out our website, cmanetworks.com. We've got tons and tons of videos in every category, whether it's lighting, ADAS, or even audiophiles that we're discussing right now. Search by brand, search by trainer, but search. It's where the 12-volt industry connects. That's it for this CMA Roundtable presented by SiriusXM and sponsored by 5-Axis Innovations. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Yo, roll it down. I am. You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?